Dead heat in the race to the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris closing the gap on former President Trump in many polls. Some have her up in critical swing states and among key voting blocs. Now, in the latest Fox News head-to-head, Trump has only a 1-point lead. Let's bring in right now Mara Gillespie, founder and principal at Blue Stack Strategies, also former advisor to House Speaker John Boehner and former Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Thank you for being here, Mara. So let's go right to it. The race is tight. What will propel each candidate to a winning lead in these next 79 days?
I think for Kamala Harris is going to be a really delicate dance because she has an opportunity to try and attract Republican voters who are really disappointed, again, with Donald Trump at the top of the ticket. I think that she could reach them. I think she should have chose maybe a different VP candidate that isn't as progressive. However, it's not a surprise to me she's talking about the economy first and foremost and rolling out a plan because that is going to speak to the whole country, really, who, as we grapple with housing prices and grocery costs. But her plan really does fly in the face of what Republicans stand for, which is a smaller, more accountable government. And a lot of the policies she explained the other day would really be more about government oversight, more government involvement. On the flip side, you had Donald Trump giving the Bedminster speech, press conference, if you will, but he didn't talk about groceries that behind him or whatever the point was supposed to be about the economy. He didn't lay out a plan or a policy. He just told us how bad things are. And so I do think that for people who are paying attention, to these two conversations, they're going to want to hear what is the policy proposal. And I think that that's how she can possibly reach some voters by at least explaining a plan that would get things moving in the right direction.
Okay, so let's go through some polls right now, Mara. We're going to start with the New York Times Siena College Battleground States poll. So when asked, likely voters, who would you vote for if candidates are Harris and Trump? Here's the breakdown. Arizona has Trump at 45%, Harris at 50%. North Carolina has Trump at 47%, Harris at 49%. Nevada, Trump 48%, Harris 47%. Georgia has Trump at 46% and Harris with 50%. Now, when you add up the numbers, Harris beats Trump by 10 percentage points in those battleground states. So what does this poll tell you, Mara?
It tells me that people are really frustrated with Donald Trump because I believe that this, since when it was Biden and Trump, we could point to Biden's age and mental decline, but we couldn't ignore the fact that Trump also goes on these rambles and these rants, and he does not stay coherently on a message, giving 2-hour-long Trump rallies that really don't provide much substance to the voters, we're trying to garner information from. So I see this as Trump giving this away, essentially. He threw a throwaway pick by picking J.D. Vance as his VP running mate. And this is a shame for Republicans down ballot because on the issues of economy and safety and security, largely that's seen as their stronghold. That's their strength for policy proposals to put forward things that would improve the economy and improve our security and increase our safety. So to me, this is a sign that Donald Trump, unfortunately, has yet again is causing Republicans to potentially lose come November because he's not putting forward policies. He's not staying on message and staying structured when he had opportunities to do so.
Let me look at a couple more polls before we close here. A Fox News poll on Harris doing better among key groups than Biden. In July, Biden had 51% support from women. Now Harris has 54% support from women. Last month, 69% of black voters said they were with Biden. Now 72% of black voters back Harris. If you look at the underage 30 group, where Biden received 47% support versus Harris at 54%. So Biden and Harris, by the way, they're neck and neck with college graduates. So Kamala Harris is a more favorable candidate than President Biden. Kamala Harris is beating Donald Trump in key battleground states and on issues now. Looking at registered voters in a Fox News poll, more of them, I should say, trust Harris to do a better job on climate change, abortion, health care, and uniting our country. Now, those same registered voters trust Donald Trump to do a better job on border security, immigration, foreign policy, and the economy. So, Mara, do you think the September 10th debate will shift the balance on some of these issues?
It really could, because again, those are some of the issues that you just mentioned are things that people are going to the ballot box with that in mind and what impacts them directly. Largely when I talk to voters and talk to friends who are curious about who to vote for, I always say to look down ballot, look at your local elections, because that impacts you first and foremost. But this debate is an opportunity for us to hear from the top of the tickets and to see what their policy plans are going to be. And we need to hear them. We need to hear actually how they would do it, not just things that sound good and that are appealing to different bases of the parties that they're trying to, get on board with them. But they really do, and I think this is part where Harris is doing well. She's speaking to younger voters. And it's something that in the foreign policy part where you put that up in the poll, where she is able to tap into what younger voters are looking for. And largely a lot of that has to do with the Israel-Palestine issue. And so for Republicans, they need to hit on that issue harder, I think, because then they can bring back those moderate voters, those suburban women, by talking about the economy, talking about safety, security, but having a structured plan and messaging that talks about Harris's, inabilities in those areas.
Okay, I have to leave it there. BlueStack Strategies founder and principal Maura Gillespie, as always, thank you very much for joining us. Take care.
Thanks so much.